think. Say we no go win. Got no room for doubts. That gon' make us sink. I've been tryna cop a base. I'm not gonna pretend. Say that thing be easy. You can ask my friends.
Okay, so WildLife is actually a collection of like several phases that I had to go through, and each phase had its own concept to it, or feeling to it, or emotion to it. So it had its own story. So every song, the track list is actually arranged in such a way that it tells the story from how those experiences occurred until the end. So that was my WildLife. It was a lot of different experiences in a set period of time. So within that period of time was pretty difficult or hard to take in. So it was pretty wild for me. So yeah, that's why I called it WildLife.
Then they talking, no go listen. I feel my life is just a distance.
So Ask My Friends was the first part of the whole experience thing. So it was that phase in my life where I was going through lack of support. It could have been from friends, from family. As in sometimes it could be, any of them. So it was kind of like I had goals that that I had set for myself and I wanted to achieve. But then along the way, I realized I wouldn't be able to achieve these goals at the rate at which I want to achieve them if I'm not getting the support that I need. So a line in Ask My Friends, I was like, I've been trying to cop a Benz. I no go pretend, say that to be easy. You can ask my friends. So it's like, everyone is aware of what I'm trying to do. Everyone is aware of what I'm trying to achieve. But then for some weird reason, I'm not getting the support from the people who know what I'm trying to achieve to be able to achieve those things. So the song is kind of like, there's some anger to the song. Like it has, how do I say, this aggressive touch. And I try to reflect that in the production as well. Because it has a lot of distorted basses. Yeah, so that's the angle that I approached concerning the song. Okay, so Groove was actually the first song that I started producing on this EP. Okay, actually, it is the first song that I started producing. So I started working on this last year in November, and at the time, I just wanted to collaborate with someone. I didn't really have any artist in mind. So, because I realized with my previous EP, I hadn't done too many collaborations. So I was actually looking to drop Groove, which was not the title at the time, as a single, just to, build up like my collaboration specs or whatever they call it. So, at the time I was just looking to collaborate. So I asked Epidemics to send me a beat, and he sent like a couple of beats in his Google Drive, and then this was actually just like it was like a loop. It was just a loop from the intro to the verses. So it was just, he just sent me an intro and a verse practically, and I started writing to it, and I realized, I wouldn't like the song to sort of like roll this way throughout the whole song. So I decided, okay, fine, let me just switch up the chorus. So started adding melodies and a whole lot of chords and all that. So it made it feel a bit diversified. So when I felt like the song was ready, as in my part, I decided, okay, fine, well, I'm good with EL now. So let me just pitch it to him and see if he likes it. Then he just jump on it. And then I went to the studio one time and then I played it for him. He was like, whoa, I like this. So yeah, that's just how I got on it.
Open up my lap, I ain't trying to brag, but to get it is necessary. Squatty dog said they can never accept it. This sound be hella beyond ordinary. King of T, self-explanatory. I go make it sauce, I go take awards. Freaking legendary. Mark it on the wall.
Groove was basically, so like I said, frustration was building up from the first experience onto the next, onto the next, onto the next. And groove was like, I was at the point where I was just tired of all the efforts that I've been putting into the work not yielding the results that I'm expecting. So at that point, I was actually looking for a shortcut. So that's what groove is actually about. But then at the same time, with L's perspective, he was also looking at the fact that a shortcut can be valid, but then hard work is what validates you in every aspect. So get your work right, and then we can talk. That was kind of like his memo. So yeah, I guess it correlates in a weird way, but yeah, it works.
Yeah, look, I know you found someone. No be you when you could tell me, I can see it written all over you.
It was about a relationship that didn't really end well. So it was just me reflecting over what it could have been and regretting what it became. Yeah, so it wasn't really much. But then, okay, on the production side, Bad Zone was actually supposed to be more energetic, as in when I was writing it in my head, the beat in my head was like way more energetic than this, like more vibrant, more drums, more cadence. You know, it was supposed to be bumpy. But then this was actually the last song I produced on the EP, and I realized that the whole EP has this jump. Like there are jumps in every song. Like there are bumps in every song. Every song is something that's going to keep you nodding your head. So I was like, okay, fine. Let me just sacrifice these drums and make this as mellow as possible. So I decided to just go with trying to make it sound more alternative than hip hop influenced. Yeah.
On my own, on my own, on my own, on my own. See, I know this is yourself.
Okay, so on my own is that point where you realized, I realized that I had made a whole lot of mistakes on the way. And if there was anything that was not working out for me, it's probably due to those mistakes. But then along the way, after that realization, certain things that I wasn't really expecting to come my way or I wasn't really expecting to work out the way they did just started working out. So that was when I was like, okay, fine, this I can't explain. Like, this is not really normal because, I mean, I didn't do the work, so why am I getting the... Yeah, so I was like, okay, then this must be God then. This must be God because, yeah, it's always God when it's something you can't explain. Yeah, so the basic concepts behind the song is no matter what you might have done that you think makes you undeserving of something, if God wants to bless you, He blesses you on His own. It's not based on anything. It's not like influenced by your actions or anything like that. It's on His own. So that's on my own. And yes, production-wise, I was actually in the studio with another producer friend called Vante one Friday night after school. We were in the same school, so I just go to his studio after class. So, and we're just like playing new music that we had heard. And at the time, he was playing this guy called Gashi. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he's really cool. He's okay. I think most of his music is very trap influenced. I've forgotten where he's from, but he's foreign, so yeah. And he had this song called "Used to Be," and the song was so like the production for the song was so like highly vibrant. Like it was like you could hear like 3 drums play like in the space where one kick is supposed to play. Like that's how filled up it was. So I was like, wow, this is actually very interesting. So I just started like trying to produce something similar. And then I came up with a loop for the beat for On My Own. So it was just the how do I even call it? Is a pizzicato or whatever. It's a plugin in FL. I've forgotten the name. So yeah, I just came up with the melody for that, and then the bass line, and then like I realized in Gashi's song he used like 3 kicks in the space of one, so I just tried to do one like the same thing, and then I used 2 because I didn't want it to sound the same. So I just used like 2 kicks playing at the same time, so it like hits. Like when it hits, it's like you think the first kick hit and that was the end, but then there's another one that just follows right after that one. So it's like unexpected. And you're like, oh, okay, this is interesting. So I feel like that was the effect I was trying to create. And yeah, and then the bass line. So yeah, that's what I came up with for that evening. And then after I wrote the song, then I expanded the beat into verses and then a hook and then the several parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Source was, like I said, I had been blessed in a way that I wasn't expecting. So Source is like more like a celebration song, and I'm just reflecting over how possible all the things that I initially thought were impossible had become, and I was just trying to relay that information to anyone who might have felt like they don't deserve this or they don't deserve that. So they are instead of probably trying to work things out, they'll just rather be left discouraged and not do anything about it at all. So this was just like a message that I was just trying to relay to that person, to inspire that person and let him or her know that, well, anything that you want to do, it's possible. You might not deserve it, but it's possible. So just go ahead and just do your best, go all out. And you never know what might come out of it. So that's Source. And then production style. There's this melody in the parts of the beats that I had ringing in my head ever since high school. Yeah, so it was way before I learned how to produce. So this was like, oh, I finally got the chance to actually use this melody. Because I had never made any beat that had the same key that I could play that melody in. So it was very unexpected. I was initially going to let the beat just roll in the same way and not have it switch up in terms of melody, because like the drums switch up like occasionally. But with melody, I was actually just going to let it roll because in my head it was just another Afro song. This is what no one specialized in. Let me just let it play like the normal thing. Yeah, but then I was like, okay, fine, this melody can fit, so let me just put it inside. And then I put it there, and it made it feel like transitioning from the verses into the hook. I could have like a small bridge, like a very small bridge, almost feels like it's part of the chorus, so you wouldn't even be able to tell that it's a different part of the song. But then it makes it feel good and refreshing, because like the verses build up in terms of energy. They build up with drum sets, bass, and all that, and then when it gets there, all that just calms down, and then there's that melody, and then just a few percussions and snares, and then the main thing just comes back again with all the bass and all the chords and all the pads and everything. So it just brought a really nice feel to it. So I really enjoyed making that particular part of the beat, because I didn't really know how it was going to turn out. I didn't know what it was going to do for the song, but it turned out really well. Yeah, that's Source.
Hey, tell you people say I got a plan. We gon' see how the story ends. Even though I know the bad, if you see say I just speed up, make you know the shock, cause I got helping hands from my father in the sky. He went in and bless me, yeah. Give me peace and direct me, yeah. Boy, you know be just me, yeah.